Yeah, good morning to one and all. This is Nagajyoti, working as an assistant professor in Department of ECE in St. Peter's Engineering College. So, today I am going to discuss about a topic of basic matrices used in network topology. So, in the last sessions, we have discussed about what is meant by a network, what is the need for network topology, what are the basic definitions which are involved in case of a network topology? So in this session, now let us discuss what is the importance of these matrices in the network topology and how to overcome the drawbacks which we have done in case of mesh and nodal analysis. So the basic matrices involved, basic matrices in network topology. The first one is incidence matrix. Second one is reduced incidence matrix. Third one is cut set matrix. And the fourth one is tie set matrix. So these are the basic matrix which are involved in the network topology. But in this session, now let us discuss a detailed description about two matrices which are nothing but incidence matrix and the reduced incidence matrix. So before going for this incidence matrix and reduced incidence matrix, first we must know what is the significance of using these matrices and where we are going to use these matrices. So before going for the incidence matrix and reduced incidence matrix, first of all we must know what is meant by a connected graph, that is what is meant by a complete graph and what is meant by an incomplete graph. Because the basic idea behind the incidence matrix is incidence matrix and reduced incidence matrix are used in order to find out how many number of trees can be drawn in an incomplete graph as well as complete graph. So in case of a graph, it consists of nodes, branches. Similarly, a combination, that is a collection of branches and nodes, is called as a graph. If you remember, we have seen about a tree. So we are having some properties for the tree. The property of the tree is, the first one is it should consist of all the nodes present in a graph. The second most important property of a tree is it should not form any closed loop. Means the number of nodes in a graph should be is equivalent to number of nodes in a tree. But it should not form any closed loop. Means the closed loop formation should not be there in case of a tree. So if a graph is a complete graph, directly we can find out how many number of trees can be there for a complete graph. So before going for that, let us see what is meant by a complete graph and what is meant by a incomplete graph. So let me take an example of a graph in which it consists of four nodes A, B, C and D. So here this is A, B, C, D. And there are six branches from A to B, B to C, A to D, B to D, C to D as well as A to C. So I am representing here the nodes are nothing but with an alphabets A, B, C and D, and the branches are with A to D is 1, A to B is 2, B to C is 4, similarly D to C is 3, D to C as well as this is 5 and A to C is 6. So the total number of branches are 6, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and the number of nodes are 4. So here, when we can say that a particular graph is a complete graph. So in order to say the graph is whether a complete graph or an incomplete graph, first we need to check the node pairs. So here node pairs is nothing but AB is one node pair, A to C is other node pair, A to D is other node pair. So starting from A, I need to check all the node pairs. So in between A and B, how many branches are there? Only one branch. In between A and C, one branch. In between A and D, one branch. Similarly, now let us go for the next node, which is nothing but B. That is BA and AB are both are same. So I am going for the next forward direction, that is BC as well as BD. First write down all the node pairs. AB, AC, AD, BC, BD. Next is CD. No need to go for D to A. Already AD we have written. So in between B and C, how many branches are there? One branch. Similarly, in between B and D, one branch. In between C and D, one branch. So if each and every node pair is having one branch, only one branch, then such a graph is called as a complete graph. Now let me take the other more branches in between C and D, which is represented with some branch as 7. So in between C and D, I am having two branches. So then such a branch is called as an incomplete graph. So when we'll be saying a particular graph is a complete graph is in between each and every individual node pair there must have only one branch between any node pairs. Similarly, now let me take this example in such a way that there is no branch between A and C. So in between A and C the number of branches are 0, but in between C and D the number of branches are 2. Then also the graph is said to be an incomplete graph. So for each and every node pair, there should have one minimum as well as maximum of one branch. Then such a graph is called as a complete graph. So in order to find out the number of trees for a complete graph, so number of trees for a complete graph is equivalent to n power n minus 2. Here n is nothing but number of nodes. So here let me take, it is a complete graph. So here in case of a complete graph, there is a graph and in between each and every individual node there is only a one branch. So this graph is called as a complete graph. So for this complete graph the number of trees are n power n minus 2. Here what is meant by n is number of nodes. So here the number of nodes in this graph is 4. So 4 to the power 4 minus 2, which is nothing but 4 square, which is equal to 16. So the number of trees which can be possible by this graph is nothing but 16. So just I will show you some trees for this graph. The first tree is, I can draw the tree in such a way that as I told you the tree should consist of all the nodes, that is A, B, C and D. But it should consist of less than number of branches as that of the graph, as well as it should not have any closed path. So I can make this as one tree, that is one tree. A, B and C. Similarly, I can draw A to B, B to D, D to C. I am covering all the branches, sorry, I am covering all the nodes, but it should not form any closed loop and the number of branches in a tree should be less than that of the number of branches in a graph. Similarly, A, A to D, D to B, B to C. This is A, D, B, C. And the fourth tree is A to D, D to B, and D to C. This is A, B, C, D. So this is the way you can get 16 different trees. So this is a formula which is valid only if the graph is a complete graph. But if the graph is an incomplete graph, we cannot use this formula in order to find out the number of trees. So here, in order to find out the number of trees for complete graph as well as an incomplete graph. Here I'll be using a concept called as incidence matrix as well as reduced incidence matrix. And the other more important thing is, in case of an incidence matrix and reduced incidence matrix, we should remember a term called as a degree of a node. So here what is meant by a degree of a node is, it specifies or it gives the information about the incoming branches at a particular node. So degree of node gives information about incoming branches at a particular node. Now let me take the same example in order to write down the degree of a node. So now let me take, this is node A. So in the node A, which are the branches which are entering to the node A? This node A is connected with three branches. One is branch 1, branch 2, branch 6. But branch 1 is outgoing, branch 2 is outgoing, and branch 6 is also outgoing. So the degree of node A is equivalent to 0 because no branches are entering into the node A. Similarly, if I am writing for the degree for node B, this node B is connected with branch 2, branch 4 and branch 3. So as it is connected with 3 branches, but among 3 branches, second is entering, third is entering, but the fourth is leaving. So the degree of node B is equivalent to 2 because only 2 branches are entering into the B and the third branch is leaving. Similarly, degree of nodes is sixth one is entering, fourth one is entering, fifth is also entering. So degree of node C is equivalent to 3. Similarly, degree of node D is connected with 1, 3, 5, but only 1 is entering, 3 and 5 are leaving. So degree of node D is equivalent to 1. If you sum all these degree of the nodes, that should be is equivalent to number of branches. So in the graph, the number of branches are 6. So sum of degree of node should be is equivalent to 6. So here, in case of an incidence matrix, if the branch is incoming branch, it is represented with a negative sign. If the branch is an outgoing branch, it is represented with a positive sign. So the significance of a degree of node is, by summing all the degree of nodes, we can find out the number of branches in a graph. And the other more important thing is, degree of nodes specifies whether the particular branch is either the incoming branch or a outgoing branch. Now let us see the same example, that is for the same graph. Let us see how to calculate the number of trees by using an incidence and reduced incidence matrix. So here for this graph, as I am saying that it is a complete graph, the number of trees which are possible in this graph is 16, that is n power n minus 2. Even if we are doing the same procedure by using the incidence matrix and reduced incidence matrix, we must get the number of trees in this graph should be equivalent to 16. So now let us start with the actual topic of incidence matrix and reduced incidence matrix. So I am repeating once again, this incidence matrix is basically used in order to find out the number of possible trees in a graph. That graph may be either the complete graph or an incomplete graph. So whatever may be the graph, whether it is a complete graph or an incomplete graph, in order to find out the number of possible trees in a graph, we are using the incidence matrix as well as reduced incidence matrix. So in case, the first let us see with the incidence matrix. So in case of an incidence matrix, the size of an incidence matrix is given by n cross b. The incidence matrix is represented with capital A and the size of this incidence matrix is n cross b. Here n is number of nodes and b is number of branches. Now I am drawing that graph. This is A, B, C, D. So here this is a graph in which it consists of 4 nodes A, B, C and D and 6 branches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So here the number of nodes are 4 and the branches are 6. So the size of this matrix should be, incidence matrix A should be 4 cross 6. That is, it should have 4 rows followed by 6 columns. And the most important thing is, if the branch is an incoming branch, it should be represented with negative sign, that is -1. If it is an outgoing branch, it should be represented with positive sign. That is, this is -1 and this is +1. So here, now I am writing the matrix for this. That is, A size is 4 by 6. In case of this, 4 rows itself indicates, that is nodes A, B, C and D. And here branches are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So here among all these cases, now let me start with node A. This is node A. At this node A is connected with 3 branches. This is 1, 2, 6. So node A is connected with 3 branches 1, 2 and 6. 1 is outgoing, 2 is outgoing, 6 is also outgoing. So if the branches are outgoing branches, it should be represented with +1. So under 1 it is +1, under 2 +1, under 6 also +1, and remaining 3, 4 and 5 are not at all related with node A. So we need to keep blindly these 3, 4, 5 as zeros. Similarly, coming to the node B. This is node B. So at this node B, 2 is incoming. If it is incoming, negative. As it is connected with 2, which is -1. 3 is also incoming. So 3 is also -1. 4 is outgoing. So it is +1. So if it is an incoming, it is -1. If it is an outgoing, it is +1. Whichever is not at all linked up with that link, just blindly keep it as 0. Similarly, coming to the node C. Node C is connected with branch 6 as well as branch 5. Both branch 5 as well as is connected with 4, 5 and 6. 4 is incoming, 5 is incoming, 6 is also incoming. So all the 3 branches are incoming. So if it is an incoming branch, it is represented with negative sign. So 4 is -1, 5 is -1, 6 is -1. And the leftover thing should be of 0. And the last node is node D. So in case of a node D, this node D is connected with the branches of 1, 3, 5. 1 is incoming. As it is incoming, 1 is -1. 3 and 5 are outgoing, so it is 3, 5 are +1. So 3 is +1, 5 is also +1. So 1 is -1, 3 is +1, 5 is +1 and all the remaining should be equivalent to 0. This is how to write down an incidence matrix for a given graph. So whenever we have written the incidence matrix for the given graph, in order to know whatever the matrix which we have written is correct or not, we can identify those mistakes by using the properties of the incidence matrix. So the first property of an incidence matrix is, if you sum the complete columns of an incidence matrix, the complete column should be equivalent to 0. That is, the first property of an incidence matrix is algebraic sum of columns of these incidence matrix should be equal to 0. So if I sum these first column, this is plus 1 and this is minus 1, which is equivalent to 0. Similarly, if I sum the second column, which is equivalent to 0. Third column is also 0, fourth column is 0, fifth 0, sixth 0. If you are not getting these complete algebraic sum of the columns of an incidence matrix is equivalent to 0, that itself indicates whatever the matrix which we have written is wrong. Or we can say that the given matrix is not an incidence matrix. So coming to the second property, so in this case the number of rows is not is equivalent to number of columns. Now let me take if the incidence matrix is a square matrix, that is number of rows is equivalent to number of columns. So in case of a square matrix, we need to find out the determinant of that matrix. If the determinant of that matrix should be is equivalent to 0, then such a matrix is called as a singular matrix. So if an incidence matrix is a square matrix, for that square matrix we need to find out the determinant. If the determinant which should be is equivalent to the 0, then such a matrix is called as an incidence matrix. So the first property is algebraic sum of the columns of an incidence matrix should be is equivalent to 0, and the second property is the if the matrix is a square matrix, then if we are going to find out the determinant of that matrix, if the determinant of that matrix is equivalent to 0, then such a matrix is called as a singular matrix. Now going for the reduced incidence matrix. So in order to find out the number of trees present, in order to find out how many number of trees are possible in a graph, can be considered by using only the reduced incidence matrix. So here reduced incidence matrix itself indicates that here in case of these incidence matrix, here we are having 4 columns followed by, sorry, 4 rows followed by 6 columns. If you are going to eliminate the last row of an incidence matrix, the resultant matrix is called as a reduced incidence matrix. So here reduced incidence matrix is nothing but reduced incidence matrix is eliminating the last row of an incidence matrix is called as a reduced incidence matrix. So in case of a reduced incidence matrix, the size of a reduced incidence matrix is represented with R, and the size of this is n minus 1 cross B. Here n is number of nodes. So here number of nodes are 4, 4 minus 1 is 3. So the size of this reduced incidence matrix should be of 3 cross 6. So here just I am eliminating the last row of this one. So plus 1, plus 1, 0, 0, 0, and this is plus 1. This is 3 by 6. 6 branches. Node A is having plus 1, 0, 0, 0, and plus 1. And node B is 0, minus 1, plus 1, 0, 0. Node C is 0, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. Now, if you sum the algebraic sum of the columns of this reduced incidence matrix, you won't get this is equivalent to 0. So, in the question, if they have given it as an incidence matrix, first we need to verify whether the given matrix is an incidence matrix or a reduced incidence matrix. In case of a reduced incidence matrix, you won't get the algebraic sum of columns is equivalent to 0. So here as we are not getting this algebraic sum of columns is not equivalent to 0. So the given matrix is not an incidence matrix, it is a reduced incidence matrix. So in order to find out the number of trees in a reduced incidence matrix, the formula which we need to is the number of trees and then reduced incidence number of trees for a graph by using reduced incidence matrix is equivalent to determinant of R into R transpose. Here we need to find out the determinant of R into R transpose. So here this is an R matrix. Transpose is nothing but changing the rows into columns and columns into the rows. So the first R matrix is 1 plus 1, or in simple I will be writing it as only 1 and minus 1. So here 1, 1, 0, 0, 0 and 1. 0, minus 1, minus 1, 1, 0, 0. Triple 0 followed by triple minus 1. This is R. And R transpose is making the rows into columns and columns into rows. So the first column is 1, double 0, which is row. 1 minus 1, 0. 0 minus 1, 0. Third is 0, 1 minus 1. Fourth is 0, 0 minus 1. Fifth is 1, 0 minus 1. So just perform the multiplication. First row should be multiplied with first column, as I am having the ones in the first and second element. Here also first and second element. So I will be getting the first element, that is multiplication of first row with the first column, which is equivalent to 3. Similarly, multiply the first row with the second column. So I am having ones at the positions of 1, 2 and 6. Here 2 is matching, so it is minus 1. Similarly, first row with the third column, only the last one is matching, which is equivalent to minus 1. Similarly, second row with first column, second row is matching with only 2, which is equivalent to minus 1. Second row, second column. So second row is similar to that of the second column. So I will be getting minus 1 into minus 1. So I will be getting this part as 3. Similarly, multiplication of second row with the third column, I will be getting the result as minus 1. Third row with first column. So in case of the third row, I am having the ones at the positions of 4, 5 and 6. So I will be getting only the minus 1. Similarly, third row with the second column, it is matching with only the fourth element, which is nothing but minus 1, and the last one is third row is same as that of the third column, so the equivalent is 3. So this is a multiplication of R into R transpose. Next we need to find out the determinant. So in order to find out the determinant, just remove these first row, first column and multiply the diagonal element. So here 3 into 3, which is nothing but 9, and that is AD minus BC. So here we will be getting 9. First is write down the first element 3 followed by AD minus BC. 9 minus of 1. Similarly, the second one is eliminate the second row as well, second column as well as the first row and multiply with that of the minus of minus 1, which is nothing but plus 1. So if you eliminate this, minus 1 into 3 is minus 3. This is minus 1. Similarly, for the last one, minus 1 into eliminating this complete part, will be getting 1 plus of 3. So if you simplify this, we'll be getting 3 of 9 into minus 1 plus 1 of minus 3 into minus 1 minus of 1 plus 1 into 1, we'll be getting the total number of trees, which is equivalent to 16. So as a given graph is a complete graph, even by using a formula of n into n power n minus 2, which is nothing but 4 to the power 4 minus 2, which is a 16. Or in this case also, I can represent the same thing in such a way that just first find out the R into R transpose, then find out. So the number of possible trees in a complete graph or an incomplete graph can be found out by using the incidence matrix as well as a reduced incidence matrix. So I'll summarize the complete incidence and reduced incidence matrix. So the step 1 is, first from the given graph, write down the incidence matrix. So in order to write down the incidence matrix, the size of an incidence matrix is given by n cross b, that is number of nodes by number of branches. So take each and every individual node. If the corresponding branch is an incoming branch, keep a minus 1. If the corresponding branch is an outgoing branch, keep plus 1. So we need to write down all the branches which are connected to each and every individual node. After writing this complete incidence matrix, we need to verify whether the matrix which we have written is correct or not. So the first property of the incidence matrix is the algebraic sum of columns of this incidence matrix should be is equivalent to 0. Or if the incidence matrix is of square matrix, we need to find out the determinant of that square matrix. If the determinant value is equivalent to 0, then such a matrix is called as a singular matrix. So in this graph, as it is not is equivalent to square matrix, just I am performing an algebraic sum of columns. So as I am getting all the columns values is equivalent to 0, I can say that this is a complete incidence matrix. So in order to write down the reduced incidence matrix, we need to eliminate the last column of a complete incidence matrix. Just I am removing this last D column of D row of an incidence matrix. So the complete reduced incidence matrix will have the size of n minus 1 cross B. So here n minus 1 is number of nodes minus 1, which is equivalent to 3 cross 6. Then in order to find out the number of trees for a graph, we need the formula for that is we need to find out the determinant of R into R transpose. Here R is nothing but reduced incidence matrix and R transpose is nothing but converting rows into columns and columns into rows of a reduced incident matrix. Just perform the matrix multiplication with R matrix and R transpose matrix so that we will be getting a matrix. For this matrix, we need to find out the determinant value. So, whatever the determinant value which we are getting, that will represent the number of trees which are possible for a given graph.